Good evening, all of you. It's very, very difficult to have a conversation after such a rapid fire from the previous speaker. I have to go from macroeconomics to micromanagement now. In the discussion that I'm going to have today, I'll try and see if I can make it a little interesting as we speak. So first of all, I think we need to give a big round of applause for all the IFAs here and outside this community. I will take up one by one. IFAs constitute about 32% of the equity mobilization and AUM in this country. So big hand. A significant 135% growth with a CAGR of 20%. Again, a big hand. 38% of SIP book is driven by the IFAs. 400% increase in SIP book, 38% CAGR in that. Again, a big hand. Improvement in ticket size. So what the previous speaker was speaking about, how much of your disposable surplus are you putting in SIPs, that moved from 2,200 to about 3,200 in 5 years. This is not to speak about IFAs who are part of an ND world, working with NJ and others. So those are not considered here, but those are also contributing to the growth of the MF industry. So a big hand to all of you. I've been asked to talk about a digital IFA, so I'm going to talk a few things about how the future is going to look like. Imagine a plane flying without a pilot. That's how the future looks like, as we go ahead. If you look at extreme convenience, and many of us are seeing it, with our children at home and with the kind of technologies that they are putting into use, that you might have to want to go and eat outside because your stove is not talking to your refrigerator. Yeah? And of course, voice is taking over. All of you, I'm sure, have an Alexa device or a Amazon or a Google device at home, and using that extensively. But I'll take a pun at Alexa and Google in the voice service that is coming up.
Radio 4.
Playing radio.
16. Lights 4.
Light 4.
Rotate change.
Making rotation 16.
9.
New York.
Loading New York. Set speed.
4. Good run. And I was 6.
6. Up.
9.
16. Lights down.
4.
Error.
16. 4.
4. Correction. 4.
From one classic to another, this is summer of '69.
69.
Good run. And I was too young to know.
Up.
9. Down.
Lights down.
Open door.
Door open.
Radio on.
Playing radio.
Only
Lights
4. Lights
from
on.
one classic to
Rotate
another,
Making
this is summer of
rotation.
'69.
69.
New York.
Loading New York. Set speed.
4.
I don't know if
4.
all of you caught on with that. So finally, the radio went on to speak summer of '69, and it went to 69 at the speed at which he had to run. So that's what voice could do to you, but voice is prevailing all over. The last that Amazon launched was Eco Auto, which is making even your car to be voice enabled at about 5,000 rupees. So there are interesting times ahead of us. I'll give some statistics, and I will then tell how we at KFinTech are trying to help the distributor journey. The first and foremost is that about 3.8 billion people are half of the world's population, 12% contributed by India, is on internet. About 451 million active users and 36 of them with active internet penetration. India is only next to China. We spoke about, we not doing well in front of China, but this statistic, of course, tells us that we are quite good. Data costs have fallen by 95%, and that's the problem with the discoms that are facing, that the country's discoms are facing today, because the tariffs are way too low. Those costs have fallen by about 95%. And financial services sector has the highest growth. I'm sure you would have used, there could not be any better use case than financial services sector, as you would know, with Paytm, with so many other digital banking that has come into this marketplace. Aadhaar is the world's largest digital ID program. 94% of small business in India accept either a Paytm or a debit card or a credit card, and more than 1/3 of our population actually use Paytms and equivalent in this country. So very interesting. So we need to digitally adapt ourselves, which is the call of the hour. If you see the digital trends in the industry that we represent over the last 3 years, BSE has moved from 44% to 14%. This is based on statistics about 25 odd funds that we service and not necessarily the entire industry. NSE has moved from 1% to 3%. There is channel partners like Citibank, HSBC and so on from 6% to 11%. Online and mobile apps have taken over from 7 to 9. And MF utility is also doing well, at least they are showing 2% growth. In a short span, we have moved something like from 16% to about 40%. If you aggregate all this just for the K-FinTech service funds in this country today. If I were to move on, what we have done therefore to help all the IFAs like you, I'm sure many of you here use the K-Fin Card Distributor app. It provides a number of services that one could think of. There are about 25,000 IFAs who have downloaded K-Fin Card DIT app today. It has a 4.1 rating. It could do much better, and we are working on it. And of course, there are 60,000 transactions that we have processed till date. This was launched sometime when I was speaking here last time. Around that time, we launched this particular product. We have made quite a few additions. We have created a virtual branch, like a phygital branch. Even if you have an investor who's having check and application, you could potentially scan those and then send them later to our front office. You can give an instant acknowledgement to the investor. And one thing that we have done based on feedback from all of you as valued partners in the industry is that we are not promoting the K-Fin Card investor app. Since in the last 1 year, we have kind of kept quiet because there is a direct access for investor that we are giving. But we are largely promoting the distributor app so that all the transactions can come through via the distributor. Not just the new purchases, but also the additional purchases and redemptions. We have also done a lot of digital onboarding. You can do a digital KYC. Of course, there are limits set by SEBI on that. You can do a video IPV and unrestricted investments if video IPV is done. We have then moved on to an integrated platform covering brokerage. So earlier you used to do carvymfs.com for all your data downloads. All of that we have bought into the app. So K-Fin Card DIT will also support all your downloads. Many of those are already done, like your brokerage reports and your SOA request, common account statement, etc., etc. Some of it is now voice enabled. Unfortunately, I will not rate ourselves very high on the voice enablement part. We still have to do some work, and I would quickly go through them. And a lot of services can be called out by voice itself, but it is not as good as an Alexa or Google Assistant, so to speak. But we are working with both the partners to see if we can get a better voice enabled services, in which case your whole conversation becomes much easier. So a lot of features we are trying to enable on the voice enablement platform. We have also done a number of initiatives between the last year and now to ensure that your investor experience is of a very high quality. Some of them may not be directly visible, but helps in the cause. For example, we have introduced something called as a penny drop, which will ensure accuracy. We have put in fuzzy name logic. So if a person's name is S. Ramesh, and let's say it is Sadagopan Ramesh, and his bank account is Sadagopan Ramesh, his investment in MF is S. Ramesh, we do fuzzy name logic to create intelligence and ensure they both match because you are very, very obligated by law to ensure that there are no third-party payments being done. So we have put that in place. We have put a check reader in place. All checks that come to us, whatever little, are all done on the OCR, and the system recognizes the data rather than somebody manually punching that data. We have internally put BOT assisted bank statements. The way it will help your investor is we will quickly identify the credits and make sure that the transactions are processed, particularly for 2 lakh and above, and bot assisted image cropping for SIP functioning with all the payment aggregators like BillDesk, Tech Process, and so on. We are also exploring many other things, like even the data capture in a handwritten form. We want to take it on an intelligent character recognition to automatically recognize rather than doing some error on data capture. We are doing BOT assisted signature verification. So signature verification on redemptions is a very important activity. We want to automate that process to make sure that there is efficiency build up. Maybe next time when I'm here, hopefully, I should be in a position to speak about those successfully getting implemented. And of course, email is a way of life. Is there opportunities to automate processes around those? These are a few digital initiatives that we have undertaken for the benefit of your community. As I kept saying last year, again, I would like to repeat, distributors are the center of our universe. And we would want to make sure that all services rendered to investors are coming in via the distributor and fully serviced, both by the distributor, and therefore the investors have a great affinity to the distributor that they work with. We also launched a program called Unnati this year, about 6 months back, where we are trying to provide training programs across. The last one, my colleague was telling me, was held in Tirupati yesterday, where about 50 IFAs attended that particular program. It's both a classroom training for skill development. It's conducted in all B30 locations in India, and a 4-hour classroom participative sessions. And more importantly, we not only explain about MF industry, but also basic financial mathematics, performance indicators as insights, leveraging all the social media, how to do client acquisition related areas. And we have had a good reception on that program. We'll make sure that the IFA Galaxy organizers keep marking those to you for you to attend in the cities that we would conduct in the local locations. I'll quickly peep into the future as it looks like, what we want to do for the community as a whole. One, we want to make sure that you continuously reduce time to administer and focus on time to sell, which means you're not trying to figure out whether the form is complete, collecting the form, handing over to the AMC or to K-Fintech officers, etc., etc. And you focus only on advising, storytelling, as we heard today, your customers, and focusing on that area. We want to make sure that you run this profitably, which is on-demand back office. Today, if you notice, most of the engagements that we have in the world that we operate in is all on-demand variable. For example, you don't own a car. You order an Uber and you pay for the Uber for that particular transaction. It's not that you're leveraging your car fully by investing 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh kind of thing or more, but you are trying to utilize on a variable cost model. And that's the most efficient model. So you want to everything on demand. And we want to make sure that you pay on demand, and let's not just pay for the heck of it and provide the services. Customer satisfaction, omni-driven. Customer can come through social media, customer can come through email, customer can call the call center, customer can write to you, etc., etc. So we want to integrate all those platforms and create value by providing an omni-channel experience. We have put some of that in the system through a product called K24, which we launched last year between call center and email and social media. We want to further invest in those areas and, of course, provide for innovation. Provide analytics to, for example, there are enough tools and analytics in the marketplace today where you can reasonably predict with 60-70% accuracy which of your customers are going to redeem next month and how much amount, with the past data that is available with us. And all of that is not expensive anymore. So they're all available. We want to leverage all those artificial intelligence technologies, machine learning, to ensure that we are able to tell with reasonable accuracy to you that these are potential customers who are going to redeem the next month. And then you have the conversation with them ahead of time and have meaningful engagements with them. We also want to look at an IFA marketplace where it is a curated marketplace, which means we will intervene in between the buyer and the seller and the manufacturer. There is no such common marketplace that exists today for the AMCs and distributors to come together and operate in a common environment. I think if we all were to apply technology, one of the key things that we want to get as outcomes of technology is all these that I have written there, which is enhancing your skill, improving your accuracy, creating convenience, simplifying life, etc., etc. But I'll also take a pun at that and then close this presentation through this video here, which is quite interesting. Technology can only get you there and not beyond. And therefore, as individual IFAs, you have a lot of opportunity to engage with your customers and create value. So please take a look at this video.
Oh, hey, Pia. Good luck. And I was
Emma.
nine down.
Lights down.
Only 16. Only 16.
4,
And from one classic to another, this is Summer of 69.
69.
Open door.
Door open.
Radio on.
Playing radio.
Lights.
Lights on.
Protein shake.
Making protein shake.
New York.
I hope you got that. So IFAs are important. So whether we want to create a digital IFA or help an IFA going to digital is the most important thing that we want to gain from this engagement. We want the IFAs to go digital, and we will try in all parts of that journey. I heard some of the IFAs speaking that they are extensively using the DIT app. Not that it is without faults. So I have promised to come back to Chennai to address some of those issues that many of the distributors might have. And it's a learning process. We are happy to learn and improve and make sure that we have a very sophisticated and easy to use product for all of you. Thank you so much.